All right, guys. What is going on? Hope everyone is well. Back to business. This is our daily Johnny Says Boxing live stream. We're going to talk about the cards coming up this weekend. The biggest one this weekend is actually a UFC card, the return of Conor McGregor fighting Max Holloway in an actual rematch, 11 years apart. And we haven't seen Conor in 5 years. So we'll get into those odds. The JSB Insiders, the VIPs on Patreon, check your books. I've given you guys, you have 3 active tickets, okay? You have our quarterly parlay that's plus 600 that's live. That one's already 5 out of 9 have hit. That's up. Today I posted a June and July parlay. It pays plus 900. And then I also last night posted a UFC knockout double paying about plus 500. So we have 3 active tickets to become a JSB Insider. It's a couple bucks a month. You either join here on YouTube or Patreon. It's how you see the slips. More importantly, become part of our community. This community. This is our Discord. I'm going to leave the link to join our Discord there. I want to show you guys. America is about to play Belgium in the World Cup. Let's see how this is our this is our World Cup chat. These guys are crazy, by the way. The boys in the World Cup chat, boy. So I think it looks like everybody picked Portugal, or they're crying that Ronaldo is no mas. Let's see if anybody hit on Spain. All right, there's some of the boys hit on Spain. France and Spain. Shout out to Cash. He hit. I don't see many people cashing. We got Gorilla Elite going 750 on the States. That game goes on in an hour. Okay. Kiza reached the finals. Let's see what the boxing chat. American football starts in 70 days. The NFL will be here before we know it. Baseball is alive and well in the chat. Yeah, so I don't even go into the baseball Discord. I'm a strictly boxing and MMA guy. I'll sprinkle a little bit on something. And let's see what the MMA boys are saying. That UFC card's amazing. Guys, I'm going to be doing a UFC only live stream on Thursday. I'm going to stream during the UFC fights as well. So, live streaming like we did for the Mason and Albert Bell card. I'm going to do commentary, and there's going to be a few JSB insiders who will come on stream with me. So, look forward to that this weekend. The UFC live stream will be the second live stream on Thursday. The books right now for boxing, we're only getting one fight. This is all we're getting. Max McIntyre, those odds, obviously we can't play that fight yet, but it's only Tuesday. It's Tuesday, July 7th, 9:18 a.m. The book will open up. That's the Australian card. If you're Aussie, it's on Stan. There's some good fights on that card. I got to be honest. If you go to BoxRec, you'll be able to recognize some of the prospects. So what I'm thinking, my hypothesis for this Australian card is the matchups all look promising for the A sides. We just have to hope by tomorrow or the next day our books will give us those fights. And it's looking like they will, because Sportsbet is giving you Max McIntyre. That usually means that we're going to get a couple other fights on that card. And you should recognize some of those other young prospects. They're all kind of knockout artists, big punchers. So fingers crossed we get not only the fights for the Australian card, but we get knockout props. And this is what the card looks like. So this is Max's pro record, 10-0 with 9 knockouts. He's a big boy, too, for the division. He's 6'3", super middleweight. This kid could crack. This is the event, though. You could watch this in America on Fight Pass. In Australia, it's on Stan. I'm waiting for that to load. While that loads, I'll say what's up to the chat. What's up, Mags? Appreciate you. Fat Boy Slim. Bro, I replied to you, mate. You're tripping. I replied to you 2 days ago, bro. Email. Sent. Look at the last one I sent, bro. Sent. I sent it to you, man. Stop tripping. Check your email, big dog. The promoter's in the house. PJ. America. Yeah. Yeah, Max is winning. Max Holloway and Max McIntyre. I can't see Conor winning, man. If you guys are betting Conor McGregor, I would suggest bet Conor McGregor first round. He's also the dog. He hasn't fought in 5 years, man. That's crazy. Okay, let's check the Australian card. Yeah, I sent it to you, Fat Boy Slim. Great screen name, by the way. All right, so this is the Australian card. Tyler Blizzard. Tyler Blizzard should haunt everybody's parlay slips here. You guys should remember him from like 2 months ago. He was a 7-1 fan. I'm not betting on Tyler Blizzard or Xavier Fletcher, but Fred Ziwa, who's 6-0. Hopefully we could get odds on him. And then Suleiman Goucher. So if you would have been watching the Wanderer Promotions card, Suleiman Goucher, young dude, only had 1 fight. They're trying to develop this kid. If you follow his Instagram, they're trying to develop him as a star, good amateur, grabs the mic, talks shit. He acts like he's a superstar. So right now in this stage of his career, they're gonna match him up. This is atypical Australian matchmaking to build. You got to build stars with guys that he's just gonna starch. So he's fighting a guy who's 1-21. He's had 1 fight. He's big, athletic. I'm waiting to get the Solomon Goucher knockout props here, Fred Ziwa props here, and then Max McIntyre props. So fingers crossed we go into Friday with that's money on the table, like 100%. So I'm hoping that the boxing gods gives us those odds. And then the other fight we have to talk about, it's a brick card. It's the Megan Redstall versus Maisie Courtney. Look, we're gonna play with what they give us. You know what I'm saying? With whatever they give us, we'll play with. We'll find our money. We don't need marquee pay-per-view matchups to create revenue on what we do. We'll see what we got. We'll do our research. We'll find the diamonds in the rough, and we'll get paid like we always do. So if you want to do a brief, because the UFC odds are out instead of, we're not getting much on boxing, we could take a look at that real quick. And then, yeah, it's tough for me to see Holloway losing to Conor, man. Even though Holloway's chin has been cracked recently, we thought he wouldn't, his whole thing was he has an iron chin. We saw Topuria cracked it. We've seen him obviously get beat. They're both at the end. Conor hasn't fought. I can't even say Conor's at the end of his career. Conor hasn't had a career. He hasn't fought in 5 years. It's crazy. So we'll see what those odds look like now. It is a slow week. Fat Boy Slim with the super chat. Fat Boy Slim, my guy. Thanks, brother. $5 super chat, however you can support. He's a JSB insider. Hey, get in the Discord, Fat Boy Slim, and let me know once you're there if you have any questions. You could DM me there. I appreciate the super chat. So what we're looking at here, boys, July 12th. Now, Lonnie Kavanaugh versus Brandon Royval. The UFC, in terms of having a championship run regarding a championship prime, this is for guys who've either never fought for a title or who have fought for a title and didn't win. Usually you only have like a 2 to 3 fight run. Maybe sometimes, maybe just a 2 fight run. And Brandon Royval, if you ask me, his run was probably 2 years ago. And so for bettors, it's always we kind of sometimes forget where these guys are in their trajectory of their career. Lonnie Kavanaugh is coming off an exciting victory in his last fight. Kavanaugh is a 45% return, $1.45. I do like Kavanaugh here. I'm gonna play him probably with Matt. If you put the double I'm thinking of, I've already given you an underdog double, but a money line double that I like that's playing plus money is if you take Lonnie here on the money line, and then if you take Max, and that's paying plus 110. Guys, we're doubling our money with Lonnie and Max. I might do that now, just to clear all the bullshit aside. I just can't see Connor having his twitch back and his reactions and his reflexes. I'm gonna place this now while I'm on the line with you guys, so you know. So if you're not in the Discord and you want to get free game, this is one of the JSB Insiders tickets right here. I'm doing Lonnie Kavanaugh on the money line. And this is going to double your money. What else could you ask for? 1,000 gets you over 2. 100 gets you 200. $1 gets you $2. I got these cheeseburgers. All right, so I'm taking Lonnie. And I'm taking Max. That pays plus 110. If you like it, put it in now, because as soon as I post this for our VIP insiders, the odds are going to change. You know how that goes. Okay, just so you know, I'm all in. All right, guys, just posted. So I got action there. I'm taking Lonnie. I'm taking Max in the money line, plus 110. We don't have to get sexy. We don't have to get risky. So that's good. That's 3 tickets now that are live just for the UFC. And I'll share that after we get off this live stream. Full transparency for the World Cup. I'm doing goal scores today. I did a World Cup prop for the American game against Belgium. It pays plus 475. Sneaky half unit. 475. I'm taking Pulisic and fall bag to score. So that, not a lot of boxing yet because it's Tuesday. You guys could let me know if you want to ask about a fight. I gave you guys our June and July parlay. You guys have our quarterly parlay. You guys have our knockout prop. You have our UFC double. 4 tickets are live going into the weekend. So I only gave you guys 4 all last week, and it's only Tuesday. So for a slow week, and you guys we're definitely going to do at least 2 more with the Australian card, and then I think there's a female card. So we got some work to do. It's kind of tough to do film right now because we don't know what odds we're getting, and I'm not ever going to do film on a fight that I'm not wagering on when I don't have to. So that being said, we can take a look at let's take a look at the Discord real quick, see what the boys are saying. I'll give you guys some free game. All right. Let's see where we're at. So this is our MMA this is our MMA chat. Thanks again, Fatboy Slim, for the super chat. You're a G. All right, so this is our MMA chat. Omar Bradbury is one of our MMA sharps. He always gives away his picks. He's always winning. Shout out to Omar Bradbury. He brings a lot of value to our team. So he likes. Okay. This is Maine 1572. He's taking Bautista and Patty. So that's a 3-leg fight to go the distance. Plus, those are crazy odds. So I have Batista and Patty on the money line. Those are both dogs. By themselves, they pay plus 500. So this is a bit of a wild card parlay, but I don't hate it. But the problem is if you take Batista, he's taking him to win a decision. Batista, he's been known to be a finisher. Patty sub, I like it. I like it. I don't know what your bankroll is, but I can't hate on that. My problem with doing props, though, on underdogs is this. Batista's already playing plus money. Because you picked Batista as a decision, what if Mario submits his opponent? What if Mario knocks him out? Then you're leaving all that dog money, all that plus money on the table. So that's just my rule of thumb through my experience in my time wagering on sports since I was a young kid. So let's see. I'm just trying to find you boys in the chat some more tickets. I posted this yesterday in the chat. Look at that. So this is Sunday in Australia. So this is American Saturday. Well, Ronaldo lost, so Ronaldo's not playing Messi. So that's Spain versus if Argentina gets through. I think they already did, right? So Argentina's playing at 5 p.m. Norway's playing England at 9 p.m. And Max and Connor fight at 11 p.m. Those are American times. So that's a very exciting sports Saturday night for you Americans. Look at all the film study. This is what I'm talking about. For you guys who aren't in our Discord, this is just the MMA chat. We shout out to Al Bundy. He was on he came on the live last week. He's a boxing sharp and an MMA sharp. There's a few of us in there. I wouldn't call myself MMA sharp. I've been enough to use those words, but I break the fights down. You know, I've written the 2 books I've written. There's, you know, Stipe Miocic is my first book. Royce Gracie's in my first book. So MMA, I watch just as much as UFC as I do boxing. What's his name? What's his name on YouTube? Ali. Ali TV came on, who's also Al Bundy. In our MMA chat, he does these excellent breakdowns. So people who aren't in our Discord, if you're a fan of pro sports and betting, the value of joining at the couple bucks a month is being part of this community. August will be 1 year, and we're approaching 550 VIPs. These are professional bettors who pay the couple bucks a month to be part of our community, and it's super valuable. Shout out to Ali TV here. I think we're almost caught up. Another great breakdown. Wow, man. My man's giving free game. Look at this. And this is why we consistently win money week in and week out betting on boxing and MMA. I'm just looking for anybody else to add any more tickets. I swear Omar gave all of his picks yesterday. Enki, shout out to Enki in the chat. Yeah, here's Omar. So Omar says his most confident picks for UFC 329, Luke Riley, Costa, Basharat, and Yanez. I do have Yanez and Costa on a parlay. When I put my bets in, the Basharat fight, I think, got canceled, and then he got rescheduled, or it got rebooked with a new opponent. And then Patty, I do have Patty as a dog. I like Batista too, man. And this is the card. It's a great card. It's a great card. So I feel a lot of the boxing heads will be watching this with us this weekend. And I think that catches us up on all things UFC, right? Just read about Chris Benoit. What happened with Chris Benoit? We knew about what happened. Are you talking about the horrible things? Was there breaking news about Benoit? I don't know if it's that. Anybody in the chat who's in the Discord want to elaborate what they're talking about Benoit? What is I like Lonnie against Brandon, but it may be recency bias from his Moreno fight. You think that's still a good metric to go off of considering Brandon's decline? Well, I look at Brandon's decline akin to Roy Vall's decline, and I think that Lonnie, watching Lonnie on the regional scene with Cage Warriors, I've watched Lonnie for like 5 years now. So I wasn't surprised he lost to Charles Johnson. I have the tickets to prove it. I picked Charles Johnson as a dog to beat Lonnie just based off of where I think it was Lonnie's second fight in the UFC. And, you know, Charles at the time was trending. Charles is a tough night out for everybody. We know that. He's just a lot to deal with for a young guy, especially who's just still new to the UFC. UFC experience matters with matchups. Sometimes you just can't look at the matchmaking and it's cut and dry. Sometimes you have to see, hey, how long have they been in this octagon? How many octagon walks have they had? How many media weeks have they had? All that matters. And I felt like Lonnie had to get through that, and he did. I feel Lonnie's I'll put him up there with, I think he could fight for a belt one day. And I think Brandon Royval's trajectory on fighting for a belt was 2 years ago. And I think that Royval has shown the holes in his game, defensive flaws. Sometimes he gets a little bit sluggish. He's just, not as technical. You're looking at a guy in Kavanaugh who, is a lifelong martial artist. This guy's mom, I'm pretty sure his mom was a high-level martial artist. I think he's half British and half Chinese, something along those lines. My point is, the kid is technical all around the board. Always comes in shape, strength and conditioning, always on point, hungry, and I really like that bet. So I just think that if I was going to take Royval, it would have been the Brandon Royval of 2 years ago, not the Brandon Royval now. He's been in some hard, tough fights. Royval's good and he's fun. He's won me money before, but he's going to be. He's more. I don't want to call Brandon Royval unnatural, but he's kind of one of these guys who came to the gym a little bit late. Picked up the skills a little bit late, and where he lacks with skills, he makes up for with heart and excitement, and he does things a lot of like unorthodox sort of tactics, and I don't think he's going to be able to get away with that with a guy like Lonnie Kavanaugh. John, early thoughts on Lamont versus... Yeah, I think William Zepeda is all wrong for Lamont Roach. I really do. That's a great question. I'm going to pull up the odds. As soon as I saw that, I got excited. I was like, I think Zepeda makes this... I really, if Zepeda's the dog here, I'm going full unit on Zepeda. Just in terms of where Lamont Roach is comfortable, where we've seen him lose before, where he likes the fight versus where he doesn't like the fight. William Zepeda is going to bring the fight to Lamont Roach where he doesn't like the fight. People are like, yeah, Lamont Roach is a great counterboxer. He'll catch and shoot, but he's only catching and shooting with you if you're playing that game with him. Here's my receipt, give me your receipt. Here's my receipt. That's not how William Zepeda fights. William Zepeda is a swarmer. He's going to be on his front foot and going to be forcing Lamont Roach to punch, not counter punching. There's a difference between countering and boxing off the back foot. It's a big difference. And so when you're looking at the gas tank, the engine, the volume, the pace that Zepeda puts on, I think he's gonna use that swarming style, and if he's the dog, I don't know what it is. Well, look, I'm jumping all over Zepeda as the dog there. Stylistically, probably not going to be a popular pick. I'm fine with that. You guys know I have no problem going against the grain. Oh, shit. Plus 140 all day. Zepeda on points. Zepeda on points is plus 330. I love that pick. But you know what I always say? If that's my dog, I'm going to just take the dog. When is that fight? August 2nd. Oh, dude, we got some big fights coming up. So that's less than a month. I love Zepeda on the money line. I might place that soon. I might place that sooner rather than later. I just think stylistically he's all wrong for Roach. It doesn't. You don't have to watch too much tape to know how both guys like to fight. This is one of those matchups where their styles are cut and dry. You know what type of style Lamont Roach fights at. You know where he's comfortable at. He likes countering. He likes catching and shooting. He likes things at his own pace. He likes the fight to look a certain way. Same thing with Zepeda. He likes the fight to look a certain way on his end. He wants to be on the front foot, put you on the back foot. And if you can't snipe him, like, are we saying that Roach is going to be able to do what Shakur did? So we're putting Roach in Shakur's category? Let me show you something. Draw. He wins a lot of split decisions. Fighting at 130 pounds. Split against Garcia. He lost against Jamel Herring. That was a long time ago. He's really good, man. He's really good. Roach is a beast. Huh. Give me some time. All that shit I just give me some time to recalibrate on this before I put money on Zepeda. He's already, he's 5'9". Isn't Roach 5'9"? Roach is 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. Orthodox fighter. 5'9". Yeah, Zepeda's going to be the longer guy, the taller guy. It's really going to come down to, will Roach be able to keep Zepeda off him? Will Roach be able to hurt him? Will he be able to deter Zepeda from that game plan? I don't expect Zepeda to show any more levels. Maybe Zepeda takes a little bit from the lesson Shakur taught him. You could say that Roach is similar to Shakur in a sense, just way less dynamic. You know what I mean? He just can't do as many things that Shakur could do at different ranges. He's just not as special. But Lamont Roach is legit world class. So I might have jumped the gun too. Let me sit on that. This is a beautiful thing about live streaming. You guys ask me questions, you get my initial response, and then me, I don't have an ego. I have no problem sometimes within the same sentiment to be like, hold up, let me pump those brakes a little bit. So give me some time. We got about 3 weeks. It's a great question though, brother. JSB Insiders, we up. Johnny, what do you make of Canelo's fight being pushed back? Mexican is on training camps as World Cup. It wasn't on my radar, big dog. I'm never like. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not. I was because I'm not I've never been a Canelo fan, but that's not mean I'm not a Canelo hater. So it's like I know he's. If anything, I feel bad for Billy. You know what I mean? Because this is in Billy's moment. So I don't look too much into it. You know. Maybe the World Cup. Look, one of my clients was in Mexico City for the World Cup. He flew from Mexico City for the first round, and then he went up to Seattle to watch Australia. And he said he was like the biggest difference in the Mexico versus, he was like, when you land in Mexico City, it's in the DNA of the culture. From the time you get off of the airport, it's everywhere. The signs, the spirit, the songs, the insignia. It's in the spirit and pulse of the people in Mexico. He's like, you go to Seattle, it's like it's not anywhere. It's World Cup that way, corned off section there. So with that being said, it might sound like an excuse, but I can see that. It's probably chaotic. I don't know, but is it something that I would use to predict how he would perform? Nah. Not at all. A guy like Canelo, who's been operating at the world level his entire career, he's very regimented with time. So if you've ever been to a fight camp, and I only know this from outside looking in, I was never a pro fighter, but doing strength camps, I was, one of my clients fought in the UFC. I've done strength camps for pro fighters. I've managed pro fighters. So everything has to be very regimented in terms of when we start camp, when we start sparring, when we stop sparring, when we start our cut, when we taper down our sparring, when we ramp up our strength and conditioning, when we taper down our cardio. Everything at this stage of the game in 2026 with a high-level combat sports is a formula. Gone are the days of hit this tire with an axe and go run up that hill and do jump rope and you're good and come in on weight. So that being said, I assume that Canelo is running a highly functional science-based camp. So getting pushed back a month sounds reasonable to me. McKinney versus Bobby under one. Dude, that's always the bet. Terrence McKinney, first round, let's go. Terrence McKinney, first round, let's. We add the Terrence McKinney first round bet. You might as well just add that to the likes of, I got to pull it up, to the like. Give me some time on Zepeda Roach. I jumped the gun, I think. I want to see McKinney. Terrence McKinney first round bet is almost akin to Gabby Fundora by knockout or top rank A sides. Now McKinney's not always going to win, so you do that bet by itself because he could get starched or the fight will end in the first round. Will the fight end in the first round? Yeah, I think McKinney starches Green. My biggest beef with Bobby is how he spits on everybody. Dude, I would be so frustrated if I was in the ring, if I was working as a security guard, walking folks out to the octagon, if I was at the octagon side judging fights. You got Bobby Green fighting, he's spitting and hockering on you. I was like, bro, you gotta chill with all that. Not getting props yet, but they'll come. Props will come, boys. Roach got dropped by Pitbull. Roach is way less elusive than previous years. Okay, Jay. Jay, the sniper. MMA better. Gable Stevenson. Yeah. Did you see the odds though, big dog? Those odds are like you bet $100 to get $4. So you got to go Gable Stevenson. What, first round? Will the guys? My second live stream on Thursday will be all UFC. Okay, and Ali TV will be on the live with me. So by then, by this Thursday, Australia time, I'll have all these props. But we got some money on the table. Terrence McKinney, Bobby Green fight. Will the fight start the second round? No. Gable Stevenson, will the fight start the second round? Hell no. That sort of thing. What's up, Smooth? Jay Smooth. I'm going to take the draw just for you. A draw guy. You two in a row. Could we get 3 in a row? Chat, tell me, chat. When's the last time a fighter fought 3 draws in a row? Big Shadow, round 1, I lock it. We still good. Lonnie, McKinney, round 1. What? This is what, bro, this is what I'm talking about. We will find our wins. And as we maneuver these waters together, we pick up patterns, and then we share those patterns, and then we will find our wins. There's a lot of money on the table, and I want all my boxing heads to know, if you're uncomfortable with betting on MMA this weekend, you don't have to do it. But there are one or two bets this weekend on the UFC card that are very similar to the Top Rank A side philosophy. You guys, all the boxing heads know how heavy we went last weekend. We hit 3 for 3. Everyone should have. Top Rank A side, right? Take the A sides. Those fight weeks only come around maybe a couple times a year. When they do, we all jump on board. This UFC card, and I'm the first to say, betting on UFC is super volatile. I rarely will ever go full unit. I rarely will ever go heavy. This week, there are, though, statistically speaking, check out Terrence McKinney, first round. Whether you want the odds in your favor, will he win in the first round, or will the fight make it to the second round? Go look at those stats. It's freaking insane. And then go Google who Gable Stevenson is. That's all I'm gonna say. So we got some good action to look forward to. I gave you guys we got 4 tickets that are live. 5 or 4? So check the check YouTube's members only, and check the Patreon. Guys, could you like the video? Because we're a slower week, I'm gonna have to lean on our community to get our views up, to get the numbers up this week. And the way you could do that is just liking the video. If you just like the video, it kind of kicks in the algorithm. And then once this is uploaded, the thing about YouTube on the live stream, we have a live chat that goes, for the whole hour. It's just that when the video is uploaded, YouTube doesn't include the chat for the algorithm. My point is, once it's uploaded, you'll see the live stream and it'll say I was live for an hour with no comments. It's because they don't put those comments as part as the public once it's uploaded. So what you could do though is like the video, because YouTube at least counts the likes from the live stream once I wrap up. So that'll help me out a lot. And then join the Discord. That really helps me a lot. It really allows me to continue to do this and to grow our community. So I appreciate the squad. Lamont doesn't want a third draw. He's going to pull off the win. What's up, Jonesy? Yeah, I think Lamont's one of these guys that we sometimes forget how good he is. I'm not saying, for me to say that I'm leaning on Zepeda, that's not me saying that I'm not respecting Lamont's skill. I already said, from a skill perspective, Lamont has more skills. Sometimes, we just saw this. Look, raise your hand if you were impressed with Albert Bell's skills. Now, I knew how skilled he was. One would say Albert Bell was without a doubt the more skilled fighter in there for various reasons. More seasoned, more experience in terms of life experience. and Abdullah being 22. But that was a perfect scenario of how sometimes skills don't always pay the bills. Sometimes you need more than skills. Sometimes you need an X factor. Maybe that X factor is power in Abdullah Mason, or that youthful pace in Abdullah Mason. Or maybe sometimes that X factor is volume and pressure in William Zepeda. Because I would say, obviously, Lamont is the more skilled boxer than Zepeda. But I think that Zepeda's style matching up with Roach's sort of, he wants things a certain way. I don't want to say he likes it clean, because that would say he'll punch with you. We saw that with Tank. It's not that. That's not what I'm saying. He relies on timing. He relies on accuracy. He relies on precision. And he wants things in his space, and he wants them to look a certain way. Zepeda isn't going to give that to him. So I might be as the same way I looked at Abdullah Mason's X factor, the power, youthfulness, and pressure. I think why my initial reaction was thinking Zepeda was the same thing stylistically. Even though Bell more skills than Mason from a technical standpoint, and Roach more skills than Zepeda from a technical standpoint, I could see a world where Zepeda beats him based off of the stylistic matchup. So it's a fun fight to break down. I don't think you don't have to watch too much tape on either guy. Both guys look the way they look last fight, and both guys look the way they look probably in the amateurs. You probably could see Zepeda, I know he came up through the Mexican domestic scene, so probably, probably looks exactly the same. Same as that. He probably just worked a little bit more on his conditioning and just grew into his man strength. Roach the same way. He probably just, you look at Roach as an amateur, he's probably doing the same sort of style. Catching and shooting, back foot, boom, pop, pick and pop, that sort of thing. So, and if you don't really have to watch too many fights. I'd like to see, when's the last time Roach watched the Pitbull fight? Pitbull, he's kind of, he's a more of a volume pressure forward guy. Not, would you call him a swarmer? Kinda. I'd have to revisit that fight to see how comfortable Roach looked in the tricky moments. You know what I mean? Because with Zepeda, he's tricky. His style's already tricky. He's awkward. He's awkward. Tracy calling low-key good matchmaking. This card, bro, Big Shadow. The card is dope. The card is dope. Let the lights match if you can. Legendary, you're the beast. What's up, Legendary Jackson? Hope you're all good. Hope you're all good. Is that Keyshawn in your profile? We got some good fights coming up. Not understand where all this confidence in Saint Denis coming from in the community is. Well, I don't. For me, the last place I look regarding my wagering, how do I say this? I won't look in the MMA chat until I put my bets in, and then I'll see where we match up with. I don't wait to see what they're saying, and then I place my bet. So for me, Benoit Saint Denis, when you look at his style, you know what he wants to do. You know where he wants to fight. He wants to swing and trade with you. He wants to punch in the pocket, in a wheelhouse. He wants a barn burner. Paddy Pimblett is super skilled. We know that he will punch with you, and we know he's super durable and tough, but his bread and butter, his wheelhouse is grappling and wrestling. So Paddy's the type of guy, he uses the striking to get into the front door. He'll stand with you, he'll trade in these crazy exchanges, and then he'll shoot. And once he has you down, that's his world. And Paddy's big too. Paddy's a massive lightweight. He cuts a lot of weight. That's no secret. He's a little bit younger. Actually, Denis looks like he's 50. They might be around the same age. I also think people, no, yeah, Denis 30. How old's Paddy now? Paddy's 31. Where does the time go, guys? Where does the time go? So I did a feature on Paddy Pimblett when he was in Cage Warriors. How would I find that? I'd have to go to my YouTube channel. But yeah, I've known who Pimlet was before he was in the UFC. And he's tough. I can't believe he's 31 now. That's crazy. I still think of Patty when he was 26. I wonder if we'll get betting lines for the Muragasia Venkataro fight. I think we will. From what I'm listening to Barry Unboxing in the Discord, he's confident in it. He has his sort of ear on the pulse regarding betting lines internationally. He's always sharing the latest Twitter breaking news, and he mentioned these fights. So if he's confident, we'll get those lines. I'm confident as well. That's me in the profile. Oh, you're a pro. Looking good, man. Love the body work, brother. Love the body work. We salute you, man. One of the things I'm an old school body puncher too, man. It's just the way I think the generation I came from, our coaches would preach it. It's kind of why I like RGBA and the things Robert Garcia does. When I was watching Tiger Johnson's performance, one of my favorite fighters of, at 47. I talk about him, all week because he just fought. But he's so clean and technical with his punching and his body punching when he does work the body with his lead hand. It was like throw the lead hand go from the lead hand body and finish up top. He would go boom boom and he wouldn't finish up top. I just feel like if he added that punch, he goes from lead hand liver and then finish with the hook up top. It would kind of, I felt, in his opponent disrupt his rhythm. But Tiger Johnson, a lot to deal with. He's a fun fighter. Shout out to Legendary Jackson. Patty, potential underdog. Yeah, I picked Patty Pimblett. I doubled him, though. I took Patty, and I'll show you Here's a potential dog ticket. All right, so Kavanaugh, Max. I like Batista over Sandhagen. And I like Patty over St. Denis. That's plus 388. If you take Batista, these are just money line bets. If you take Batista and Patty on the money line, you're at plus 388. No reason to get fancy, no reason to get sexy. You don't have to always seek out plus 900. What you want to do is try to find a keen eye, an edge, a lean, and build on it. Plus 388 return is great. You are dealing with two dogs, and I think by fight night, we're already seeing those odds close a bit because when I put this ticket in yesterday and I gave it to the boys, I got Patty. Wow. Is this Batista? I got Patty and Batista at plus 442, and they're down to plus 388. So I just assume that's going to probably keep going down. I'm going with Patty as well. Yeah, it's the card's really good, guys. It's actually a really impressive card. From top to bottom, too. Not even, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to be doing live during the card. I'm going to be bringing some of the boys on, some of the MMA sharps from our Discord. And so during the UFC card, I will be live streaming. I'll create a what is it? I'll create a reminder for the boys. Connor at 37, not fighting for 5 years. It's really like legendary SS Jackson's a fighter. He knows how he feels if he takes a couple months off. You know what I'm saying? I know, like I'm 44, and I'm just using what my body feels like as an example. At 44, I have a set schedule. I do a certain amount of rounds twice a week, every week. Thursday, I'll shadow box 10 3-minute rounds with 20 seconds of rest in between. I'll do that Monday as well. And then I spar 10 rounds with two different guys on Saturdays. But if I miss that Thursday 10 3-minute round shadow boxing session, if I missed it 2 weeks ago, I feel that on Saturday. I don't feel as sort of, I don't want to say loose. I don't feel as free in there. So I couldn't imagine, he's been in camp, he's been training at 37 years old, 5 years away. You know, the broken bones in his leg is going to be in his head. The time away is going to be in his head. If I'm Max, I'm jumping on him right away. I'm not. If I'm Max, I'm jumping on him right away. That's what I'm doing. And you got to think at 37, the reflexes, obviously, as men, they're not going to be as sharp. The twitchiness, will it still be there? He'll still have power. Where's this fight at 170? I think they're fighting at 170, right? They're fighting at 77. Yeah. When they first met in 2015, they fought at 145. 145. Connor won at 45-55. Yeah, 145. Man, I hope Roybal can pull it off. Yeah, Raw Dog. I was talking about Raw Dog. The window of opportunity in MMA, especially the UFC, the window of opportunity to make a championship run is so small because of the parity in matchmaking. Because you have your prime, your prime window as a pro athlete in any sport is already small. But the window of a prime in UFC of making a championship run is a fraction of that. Okay? Brandon Royval's run, in my opinion, happened 2 years ago. He had kind of right when he broke on the scene, he kind of took people by surprise. With his unorthodox scrambling techniques, with his punch placement. He was just kind of like an X factor. And then I feel people started figuring him out. I'm looking at Lonnie Kavanaugh. This is a young fella who's strong all around the board. I look at Lonnie Kavanaugh. This is like the next version of MMA fighter. You know what I mean? I'm like the evolution of our sport. That's how much, I don't want to say the word praise. That's how much sort of hype, how much, I guess I'll use praise that I have in how he operates. The kid is, and I've been hearing his name for a few years now, dating back to, I watch a lot of Cage Warriors. And so Kavanaugh's a beast. Royval is going to have to be on his P's and Q's. Kavanaugh will fight him on the feet and on the ground. He's a good grappler, good takedown defense, could pop, could crack, fit as hell. Royval's longer, awkward, super awkward. Can Royval at this stage of the game use his awkwardness to beat Kavanaugh? I'm betting that he doesn't. Yeah, he can't do MMA. You know damn well we can't do MMA math. Connor and Patty on a 2-leg. Yeah, I mean, if you're taking Connor Jackson, just take him on his own ticket because he's already the underdog. Because I think I was half tempting to watch Connor's fight out of entertainment purposes and not bet it, but as you can tell, I just placed the bet on live. I'm taking. I can't get past the 5 years out of the game. I can't get past the last time we saw him. The leg injury, how he handles himself, well documented alcoholism on the bags, raping, drugging. Like the dude isn't really like, walking the path of the samurai. I mean, is that really that controversial? I hope he wins, by the way. I'm an OG Conor McGregor fan. I'll never forget when he broke through. I was there the whole run. You know what I mean? When he fought Marcus Brimage, people forget about Marcus Brimage, man. Marcus Brimage was that dude. Brimage was the A-side. Brimage was the dude who had the hype. Brimage was the dude at all the weigh-ins. He'd come in with that Star Trek glasses, and he was all marketable. He was great on the mic, dynamic striker, good grappler. And Conor Conor came out of nowhere. That's when Conor had the cornrows, fighting at like 145, all skinny, killing himself to make weight. And then when he fought Diego Brandao in Dublin, dude, that's probably my favorite Conor performance, the Brandao performance. Obviously, the Jose Aldo's legendary performance. But Diego Brandao, man, when he was in Dublin, he put all of his boys on the card. Cathal Pedro had fought on that card. Paddy the Hooligan Houlihan fought on that card. Neil Seery fought on that card. That's after the fight. He goes, Paddy the Hooligan Houlihan, you can't beat that guy. He goes, Neil Seery, real naked choke. He's like, we didn't come to take part. We came to take over. It was like, holy shit, this whole Irish invasion. So part of me is like, yeah, we're romantic about our combat sports. You know what I'm saying? We want to see everything that was great. Can it be great again? Right? If you're a true fan of combat sports, that's how I look at it. But also as a bettor, though, at this stage of the game, what I do with this, I can't bet with my heart. I got to bet with my wallet. So logically speaking, statistically speaking, all of the facts that we all know about Conor and his legacy, the years spent away, whatever he was or wasn't doing outside of the octagon, none of my business. Guess where Max was? Max was in that octagon. Granted, a lot more miles on the. He's younger, but been in some wars. Two absolute legends. What will this look like? You know what I'm saying? What will it look like? I'm betting on Max. I'm betting on Maxie. I'm betting on the samurai lifestyle. My bet is more about the discipline factor, how I live my life. I'm gonna bet on that rather than the larrikin. You know what I mean? The guy who goes out partying, slinging dick, all that good stuff as a fighter, which is, these guys are savages. But from the disciplinarian perspective, the samurai perspective, I'm betting on that guy. What's up, youngin? Moonshot. I don't know if I could bet on Conor. Max been getting active though, right? Ooh, ooh, sore boy. Max been getting active. Major League Facts. I'm currently back in shape now, and it sucks. Bit by bit, chopping wood. Build the foundation first. Build that foundation. Once that foundation comes, start with the little things. Um, my perspective on everything, the way I look at my health and fitness, my clients' fitness, because I'm a strength and conditioning coach. The way I look at building side projects, because I run multiple businesses, I work for myself on different areas. I write books. I've been published 2 times. Whether I'm writing a book from scratch, whether I'm building something from scratch, I always tell myself, and in this case, you're getting back into shape, and this is advice I give to anyone. I always tell myself at the beginning stages, I say, how am I going to feel a year from now? This effort right now I'm putting in, what's this going to feel like? What's it going to look like? What's it going to taste like? Whatever it is, a year from now. And that should be the mindset. Like right now, this our group, we're approaching 1 year in the Discord. My mindset is wait till you see us in 5 years. Our YouTube channel is approaching 30K. I'm like, wait till you see this in 5 years. So rather than sometimes we get fixated on the work that's in front of us, and it could deter people, and we could trick ourselves and like it's too hard. You need to already vision and visualize yourself that year you've already put in, and now you're on a roll. And now what things are opening up for you? What people are you meeting? What doors are opening up for you? How are you going to feel? Your cognition's going to be better. Your output's going to be better. All that good stuff. So in a way, if you're just getting back into shape, it's the best time because it's the suckiest time. And so this is where like you should kind of cherish, because once you're in shape, you take it for granted. Gable, round 1, Royval versus Loner over 1.5. Yeah, MMA better. The odds, MMA better. You in our Discord? I think you are. I have sparring videos on my channel if you want to. Hell yeah, I do. I'll check it out. I'll give it a follow. Louisiana Jackson. Uh, I don't think that's you, brother. I typed in the wrong one. Legendary SS Jackson. There's my guy. Subscribe. Boom. I just subscribed, big dog. Six years. Let's go with something recent. 3 years. 7 years. All right, this is our guy right here. Hopefully there's no music on it so I don't get flagged. How old are you, bro? Are you in the black or gray? Are you in the black or gray here? Texarkana in the house. Holla. Junior welterweight versus heavyweight. Best sport on earth, boys. You're the smaller one. Bro, that's why I asked. That dude's like way bigger than you. Both switching stances. I like that lean in backhand you throw. I like that lean in backhand you just threw, getting your head off the midline, following it. Fake up top, go to the body. Nice slip, work around. The big heavyweight keeps switching stances. Weak jab. Nice hook off use the ropes. Lean in on him. Right. This is good stuff. I'm gonna check it out more. Guys, we got the go follow Legendary Jackson, boys. Go follow this guy. Give him a follow. Getting back in shape. When you have a fight, let me know, man. I'll support you. I'm gonna stay on for a couple more minutes because we got the football, the soccer game. I said football. Soccer game coming up. His name is Joseph Smith, the heavyweight. He's currently undefeated kickboxer in Oklahoma. Nice, man. Excellent. It is the greatest sport on earth. I salute the JSB community. You guys are the best. We got some fights coming up the end of the week. Stay tuned. Check the YouTube members only section. Check the Patreon posts. I've given you guys 4 tickets. There's a lot of money on the table this weekend. Let's be patient with our books. Do your film study. Ask your questions. Join the Discord. And stay positive too, man. I talked about this yesterday, and this is real rap. With anything in life, there's 2 stories all the time. Optimism, pessimism. It's just how you choose to look at life. One out in front of us, and then how you react to it. So be optimistic, man. It's a choice. It really is. You're welcome, Legendary, man. Keep me posted. I'll see you around.